In November, when held like a banshee around Blackwood Manor, its icy fingers clawing at the decaying stone walls. Inside, Amelia Blackwood shivered, though not entirely from the cold. The fourth day since inheriting the estate, and the unsettling feeling of being watched had lessened. Her grandfather, Silas Blackwood, a recluse known more for his occult studies and his family, had left her this burden. A vast, echoing house filled with shadows and whispers that seemed to cling to her like a second skin. The previous 3 days had been a whirlwind of dust, cobwebs, and increasingly bizarre discoveries. Sila's study, a chaotic labyrinth of ancient tomes and strange artifacts, had yielded a particularly disturbing item, a small obsidian shard, perfectly smooth and cold to the touch. Ever since finding it tucked away in a locked drawer, Amelia had been plagued by nightmares, vivid and terrifying glimpses of a figure shrouded in darkness, its eyes burning with an unholy light. She felt an inexplicable compulsion to keep the shard close, even as it filled her with dread. Tonight, the feeling was particularly intense. As she walked through the long, dimly lit corridors, each footstep echoed eerily, amplified by the unnatural silence that had settled over the house. She could almost feel eyes on her, cold and malevolent. She found herself drawn to the west wing, a section of the manor that had been sealed off for decades, according to the old family records. A sense of overwhelming unease permeated the air around the wing, a palpable darkness that made her breath catch in her throat. The door to the west wing was heavy and reinforced with iron bands, its surface covered in a thick layer of rust. After a struggle, the ancient lock gave way with a groan that echoed through the silent house. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of mildew and decay. Moonlight streamed through a shattered window, illuminating a room filled with rotting furniture and tattered tapestries. A single object stood out, a large, antique mirror, its silvered surface tarnished with age. As Amelia approached the mirror, she noticed something strange. The reflection wasn't quite right. It wasn't merely a distorted image of the room. It showed a different place entirely, a dark and twisted forest bathed in an eerie green light. And then she saw it. A figure standing among the trees, its form indistinct but undeniably menacing. It reached out a skeletal hand, its long, claw-like fingers stretching towards her reflection. Amelia stumbled back, her heart pounding in her chest. The figure in the mirror seemed to notice her, its burning eyes focusing on her with an intense, predatory gaze. A low growl, like the sound of stones grinding together, echoed from the mirror. As she watched in horror, the figure began to emerge from the glass, its form slowly solidifying as it stepped into her world. Panic seized Amelia. She screamed and stumbled backward, knocking over a small table. The obsidian shard slipped from her grasp and clattered to the floor. As it struck the stone, a blinding light erupted, filling the room with an unbearable heat. The figure recoiled, his form flickering and unstable. The light intensified, coalescing into a single point before vanishing completely, leaving behind only silence and darkness. Amelia lay on the floor, gasping for breath, her body trembling. The mirror was still, its surface once again reflecting the decaying room. The figure was gone, but the feeling of being watched remained, stronger than ever. She picked up the obsidian shard, its cold surface now radiating a faint warmth. She knew then that this was only the beginning. Silas hadn't just left her a house. He'd left her a war against something ancient and evil, something that was now watching her, waiting for its chance to return. And she was inextricably bound to it, the obsidian shard the key to its prison, and perhaps to her own doom. The whispers in the walls intensified, coalescing into a single, chilling word: soon. The Blackwood Manor held its breath. awaiting the inevitable dawn of a new nightmare. Amelia clutched the shard, her heart pounding, knowing that her battle had just begun, a battle against a darkness she could barely comprehend.